Hi, everyone, and welcome to this workshop on data portfolios. We're going to be taking a look at some frameworks and strategies for showcasing your unique abilities. My name is Carrie Baldwin. I'm a lecturer in the Operations and Information Management Department in Eisenberg. My background is in data science, and I've been an educator for 18 years. I have experience in physics, applied statistics, data analytics, and more recently in the modern methods in data science and machine learning using open source software. There are some workshop materials that you can use, and you can access them with this QR code, or perhaps more useful is the web address, which you can type into your browser, and there you will find these presentation slides, data portfolio development prompts, so you can use those to help yourself create a unique storyline and description of yourself as an analytics professional. I also am including a Canva profile template. So what you see here is a presentation that's made with Canva. And you can actually make a quick website with this platform. And I tested that out for you and built a template that you can customize for yourself to make things a little bit more streamlined. You'll find some other materials at that web address that may or may not apply to you. So some materials that you can use to read in a data file from a link, and also for those who might be interested in using GitHub, there's some resources there. Okay, so what are we going to do in this workshop? We want to develop a professional analytics portfolio that effectively showcases your skills and projects that you've completed. You want to be able to present data analysis work, including visualizations and key insights and business recommendations. So this is really important in the domain of data analytics. It's critical not only to be able to conduct a thorough and accurate analytics project, and you focus on that a lot in your classes, but you don't have as much opportunity to showcase and communicate your results to a wider audience. So that's one thing we'll focus on today. And we're also going to utilize popular portfolio platforms to create distinctive and impressive presentations of your work. And there are many that are available to you, and we'll just focus on one, but I will show you other options. So some key considerations around data portfolios. We want to increase your visibility and discoverability, right? Make it easy for someone to find you on the web. You want to show credibility and trust. So throughout the process of creating your portfolio, you want to think about what people are going to understand about you when they see your presentation. And you can show that you are an effective communicator by the way you write on the slides, right? On the web page that you build. You can show that you're detail oriented by making sure you have clear labels and that everything is easy to understand. And you can show that you have some personality through the color choices that you use and what you decide to share about yourself. You may, from having a great analytics portfolio, you may find increased networking opportunities, right? So you want a one-stop shop for hiring managers and recruiters and maybe other professionals in the industry that you're looking to get into, so that this can be easily shared. You can drive some interest and let people get to know you better through this presentation of your work. And of course, the goal is career advancement. That kind of goes without saying. And personal branding, right? Who are you as a person and who are you as a professional? Best practices for professional advancement in general include these things: being able to clearly and concisely summarize yourself and your background experience and your professional goals, right? So what is that elevator pitch that explains who you are and what you do, what you can do? And part of that is showcasing your relevant skills and experience that you have. And not only that, but aligning it with the professional goal that you have. What is the job that you want to do? Can you narrow it down to something more specific than just business analytics? Maybe you're interested in working from the marketing side, or you're curious about looking into healthcare analytics or something. So finding out what skills are most in demand in the particular subdomain of business analytics will be really helpful in driving what skills and experience you choose to include in your professional profile. Right? Of course, it's always important to have a strong professional network. The portfolio can help you with that, and it also can come in really handy when you are part of some kind of networking opportunity and you're getting to know someone, they maybe express an interest in getting to know more about you. And if you have a portfolio ready to go, it's a great way to streamline that experience of getting into the workplace that you're striving for. Of course, it's important to have an up-to-date online presence. We all, I think, are encouraged to use LinkedIn, and we're very good at that in Eisenberg for sure. GitHub is slightly more specialized, but I will share a little bit of information on that for those who are interested. Visual appeal is important, so there are a lot of interesting user interfaces out there. So when people browse the web, they're used to seeing kind of a classy and refined user interface. And if you have a modern looking, clean presentation of yourself and your work, that's going to stand out. So we do care about that. And of course, you want to show your personality a little bit, right? So you're more than just the words on the page. You have some substance to you. Maybe you're somebody that people would like to get to know and would like to work with. Here are some examples. We'll take a look at 3. And what I wanted to showcase here is mostly this summary, which can often be described as the elevator pitch, and some key achievements. We're keeping it pretty simple here. We'll look at these 3 cases and then pause for a moment and think about what are the characteristics that make a good professional. So here we have a person who sees themselves as a data-driven strategist with a focus on business intelligence. So this is what I mean by thinking about what particular subdomain of data analytics do you see yourself working in? And can you align your summary with that goal? So we have a data-driven strategist with 1 to 2 years of experience in data analytics and business intelligence. Here we see the skills that they are choosing to highlight: skilled in SQL, Python, Tableau, statistical modeling, and A/B testing. And the final line here, translating complex data into actionable insights to enhance business performance. It's good to have a line that connects the skills and the analysis that you have into something that is business related, right? Enhancing business performance. That's a strong statement. And then we have a list of key achievements. So this person has listed their skills and their experience. The key achievements should justify those claims. So here we see that she built a predictive model forecasting sales trends with 85% accuracy, developed a Tableau dashboard, reducing reporting time by 30% and improving visibility, conducted Python-based statistical analysis, boosting customer acquisition by 15%, and then lastly, delivered impactful data storytelling to academic panels, right? So this is someone with not a lot of experience, and it's clear that a lot of the experience is coming from an academic setting, and that's okay. Here's another one. I'll go a little bit more quickly through these next 2. This is a data visualization expert, storytelling and business intelligence. So you can see a slightly different flavor here. This person seems a little less on the technical side and more on the presentation and communication side. Data storytelling is a good keyword to use. So we have a similar setup with a summary that starts with data visualization expert, not too much experience, but a good summary that conveys both the skills and the nature of the work that he's doing, and then some key achievements that reference the useful platforms for data visualization and storytelling. We also see here that he conducted workshops, so he was able to share his knowledge with others and communicate with other people who are interested in his work. So that's a good thing to showcase if you've ever done a workshop of your own or supported the learning of others. That supports any claim that you are a strong communicator if you have that kind of experience. And here we have a data engineer, so another fairly technical job role, scalable data pipelines and cloud computing. So she's highlighting some modern and highly coveted skills in data analytics. Notice the keyword here, emerging data engineer. So as somebody coming from an academic setting, that is a good term you can use. You can think about, a lot of people tell me, a lot of my students will tell me that they don't feel very confident applying for roles that require a couple of years of experience, and they have trouble communicating their academic experience and how that's relevant to the job role. So that is a hard thing to do, but certain keywords can help, like emerging or aspiring. So that's what she's doing here, showcasing those skills in Python and SQL, which are definitely the top skills needed for data engineers, and showcasing that she was able to automate data processes and enhancing efficiency. So that implies, of course, improved business operations. Okay, so let's stop and think for a moment. If we were to summarize the key takeaways from the sample cases, what are those characteristics that stand out? What was good about these sample cases? So some might say that these are some key takeaways from the case studies. Quantifying achievements. We saw that in each of the three. Whenever possible, use metrics to demonstrate the impact of your work. That makes your work look stronger and makes it easier to justify any claim that you have experienced in a particular domain. Tailor your profile. So use industry-specific language and terminology to showcase your expertise. So this is aligned with whatever job role or industry that you see yourself working in. Optimize for keywords. You could do a little bit of research to find out what are the relevant keywords for the discipline that most interests you. And this can improve your profile's visibility in search engine results. And of course, highlight your unique value proposition, what sets you apart from other data analysts, and then clearly articulate those unique skills and experiences that you have. Okay, so at this point in the workshop, you could move to the data portfolio development prompts, and there are 5 of them with some sub-questions to help you figure out how you're going to use your background and experience and career goals to further your career. So this could really take some time. You might want to get started on it and then come back to it a few times while you are gathering and building all of the substance that's going to support your portfolio. So I would say this is probably the most important part. I think we tend to focus on the presentation of your portfolio kind of quickly, but the more you can take some time to build all of that language that you're going to use, I think the better off you will be in the end. So prompt 1 has to do with academic and professional experience. And these are the questions to consider. How can you highlight the most relevant courses or projects that you've done? How can you quantify your achievements using phrases like increased efficiency, reduced costs, or improved prediction accuracy? Right? So in my class where I teach machine learning, we would talk a lot about improving prediction accuracy of a machine learning model. In my think about explaining how you did that, right? Maybe you combine multiple models, you use ensemble methods, or you did some feature engineering and pre-processing that allowed you to improve the prediction accuracy of the model, maybe the R-squared value, or if it's a classification model, you would focus on the accuracy of prediction. Relevant projects. What specific skills and tools did you use in the projects that you've done? How did your contributions impact the project's outcome? Okay, so here's a place where, of course, describing the specific skills that you did is going to be important. You maybe talk about integrating SQL into a project. This is a place, a project is great because when you're doing a project, you're doing high-level synthesis and analysis, figuring out the right methods and tools to use for the given task. So this can be a high-impact thing to showcase. Okay, and I think having about 3 projects is a good number, right? If you only have 2, that's just fine too. Somewhere between 2 and 4 would be good. And then in terms of contributions to the project, you can think a little bigger about this, not just about the technical contributions, but were you helpful in organizing your schedule with your group? Were you somebody who made sure that all group members had an opportunity to participate? Were you someone who took note and kept track of everybody's input to the project? Did you involve yourself in organizing everybody's work, or were you instrumental in putting together a final presentation? Something like that. So are you able to showcase some leadership skills, some organization skills, synthesis, and communication and teamwork? These are all highly desirable, sometimes called soft skills in pretty much any industry. Okay, here we can focus on the technical skills. What tools and programming languages are most relevant to your career goals? So even though you may know a lot of different technical tools for analytics, what are the most important ones? So somewhere between 3 and 5 skills would be good. You're going to choose Python, SQL, and Excel. That's a good combination. Those are kind of the top 3. If you're more into visualization, maybe you want to focus on R, Excel, and Tableau. So figuring out what are the key skills for the industry that you're most interested in. And how can you demonstrate your proficiency in these skills? So this is where you can show what skills you used in the project summaries that you share as part of your portfolio. Overall collegiality. How can you showcase your teamwork and communication skills? And I would also add adaptability. Are you able to respond to challenges and setbacks? And how are you committed to the collective success of your group over, individual achievement? That's something that, hiring managers want to know about. Are you someone who's going to prioritize the results of a project and, do everything necessary to make sure that overall the group is successful? That's a great thing to showcase. Are there any testimonials or recommendations that you can include? This, I'd say, is an optional feature in your portfolio. It could be maybe not part of your portfolio, but something that you could request from a former professor and you ask them to write a short endorsement for you, or ask a classmate who worked on a project with you if they have any testimonials or recommendations they can share with you. So just a few sentences describing how you are as an analyst and as a team member. And then lastly, you definitely want to talk about and integrate into your portfolio the professional goals that you have. What are your short-term and long-term career aspirations? Do you see yourself as a senior analyst at some point? Most people who come out of our program here in business analytics are not going to start as a data scientist or a data engineer. There's usually some workplace training and experience that's necessary in order to gain that position. So it's reasonable to expect 3 to 5 years as an analyst before moving into a data science role. And I know I've talked with a lot of students who have that goal. So that's a good thing to share. And usually moving from a data analyst to a data scientist role hinges on domain knowledge. So if you start out as a data analyst in marketing, the workplace experience in the marketing space will help you move into a data science role, whereas a data scientist, you're thinking about what questions should be asked in order to give the business a strategic advantage, whereas as an analyst, you're usually performing the analysis based on some direction from a senior analyst on your team. And then last thing to consider is how can your profile align with those goals that you have defined for yourself? Okay, let's get into now the building of a professional online profile. So after spending a good amount of time developing the language and reflecting on yourself as a professional now and in the future, you can get into the process of constructing your profile. Okay, some questions to think about when building are these, and I've actually worked with a number of students to refine this list, and I've gotten feedback from people who have entered a new field or transitioned into a new job role. And this is what my students have said in the past. People want to know what makes you unique as a professional. What other skills do you bring apart from analytics? Showing personality, we keep coming back to that. You do want to convey confidence and enthusiasm. I would say not just enthusiasm. Sometimes students will say, I'm very eager to learn, will take advantage of every learning opportunity. That's great. But you also have to have just as much, showcase just as much confidence in your existing abilities as well, right? So show that you have a starting point and that you can contribute to the business, right? Some students have said that it's important to avoid sounding needy, and this comes from people who have worked professionally. Make sure you show how you will add value to the institution, and make sure you can back up any of your claims. So if you say that you know Python, make sure you show some evidence that you've done something with Python. For students, and I'm thinking about students who are in my graduate classes, right? So these are people who have worked professionally for some time, and they told me to avoid losing yourself in the process of finding a job, right? It can be really, really challenging, and it's easy to give up after multiple efforts to find the right job role. So don't lose yourself, and I'd say don't get caught up in constantly adding new skills to your portfolio. I hear from students a lot that they say, well, I don't have enough Excel or Python. I need to do more classes. Yes, it's good to keep doing that, but you still want to package what you already have and what you already know and make a strong case for yourself that you do have something to add to the business. And lastly, you do want to be honest about what you know and what you don't know. It is common for hiring managers to require a technical interview, and that's where if you put something on your profile, you do want to be able to back it up, possibly in real time. Although, if you have a great portfolio and it already shows your technical abilities really, really well, I heard that you may be able to bypass the technical interview. So that would be a great thing. And then we have an example. Okay, so here's the example: results-driven data analysts skilled in uncovering insights from complex data sets and translating them into compelling narratives to support decision making. That's a good starting sentence because it conveys some confidence, some background, and also a connection to the business setting, specifically supporting decision making. And that's more or less what all of us do as business analysts. Here you can get into your skills: proficient in SQL, Python, Tableau, Excel, and R, with strong problem solving, collaboration, and communication abilities. Excited to contribute to a dynamic team and drive organizational success. Okay, so I think this does a good job of balancing both the confidence and the enthusiasm, right? So they're talking about their skills and how they support the business. And also they show that they're very eager to start and contribute as part of a team to drive overall success. So they're seeing the big picture of where their technical work could fall within the larger context of the organization. Okay, so we are just revisiting the key achievement guides here. You can just refer to this as a guide for yourself as you're building your own list of key achievements. And I think 3 or 4 bullets is a good way to go. So I won't read through these because we kind of talked about it before when we looked at the 3 sample cases. Okay, now getting into how we put this on a page, how we put this on the web. There's some options. This is one example of a project summary. And like I said, in your portfolio, you probably want to have a page for each project, and somewhere between 2 and 4 projects would be good. I think 3 is ideal. So notice that there's quite a bit of text on here, but there's some use of white space, right? So the text isn't all crowded together. There's some differences in colors. You can see the key areas of business question, analytic strategy, model summary, notable findings, and recommendations. So for this particular project, which involved a statistical analysis and modeling, these sections are appropriate, right? So we go from the business question into some technical aspects, then we move to the findings and recommendations. So we want all of that to be aligned. So for example, if you say something like in the recommendations section, you say that you should invest in initiatives like recognition programs and professional development to boost satisfaction, as it is the strongest predictor of performance. The viewer should know where that's coming from. And it's coming from over here. So job satisfaction was identified as a significant predictor of job performance. And this is an interpretation of the slope of a multiple regression line. And it is accurately interpreted and then translated into a business recommendation. So that's the kind of thing you want to be able to do with your project summary. It's also useful to look at not just the model results, but also some exploratory analysis. So here's another recommendation that says monitor and address variability, and this has to do with absenteeism. So identify and address outliers in absenteeism to improve workforce efficiency. So where is that coming from? Mostly from this graphic here. So we see there's variability by department in the number of absences for the employees, and these points are the outliers. So this recommendation is correctly interpreting the graphic and drawing the most important insights from that. Okay, I also want to point out that it's a good idea to link to any code. So this is part of backing up your assertions in your claims that you are skilled in a certain area. It's probably unlikely that a recruiter or manager is going to click onto your code, but they might if they want to get a really detailed look, and if they happen to have some experience in the skill that you're showcasing. Maybe they know Python, they want to see how you approached the code. So you could make clickable links to show the full analysis. If you did a project for a class and you had presentation slides, it would also be helpful to include the presentation slides probably in the recommendation or notable findings section, right? So this is a specialized recommendation for anyone who's interested in getting into the land of GitHub. Probably very few students who come out of Eisenberg who want to do this. This would be more for people who are maybe going into software development or analytics from the very, very technical side of things, right? They're maybe building the algorithms instead of just using the algorithms like we do in Eisenberg, right? We are more focused on practical implementation. However, I did want to share this with you, and there are materials in that folder that I linked to in the introductory slides. GitHub is kind of like a professional network where people share their full code. It's called a version control platform because it allows you to timestamp your progress at various stages of the development of your project. And you might be wondering what these little green squares are. They show your activity. So if this is something you want to get into, it's a good idea to have regular activity on GitHub. So you have a project or two that you're working on and building. And every time you commit a change to your project, you'll see a green square, and those green squares get darker the more activity you have on a given day. Okay. So at the end, I will show some steps for how to do this, specifically how you could, if you use DataCamp, how you could take those projects and adapt them and then post them to LinkedIn, or to GitHub, I mean. Tools for portfolio creation. There are many available. You can create portfolios in DataCamp, LinkedIn, Canva, Adobe, Google Sites, Squarespace, Kaggle, GitHub, and many, many more. So here's an example of a really good LinkedIn portfolio. And if that works for you, you could take a look at Joe's portfolio. And we have 3 projects that he did and a summary. And this is a very good looking portfolio, showcases a diverse collection of skills and experiences. So it's nice how we can tag the skills that are used for each project in LinkedIn. You can also use DataCamp portfolios. So here in Eisenberg, we have access to DataCamp for free, which is excellent. And if you do create a DataCamp portfolio, just know that it's not as easy to bring in projects that were not completed in DataCamp. So in DataCamp, you can showcase any work that you've done in the courses or in the projects or even in the certifications that they have available. So some students really like to commit themselves to learning through DataCamp. And if that's you, this might be a good option. You can showcase any work that you do in DataCamp and LinkedIn pretty easily as well. So this is a short tutorial showing how to do that. So you can look at any courses that you've completed and then click to view the statement of accomplishment. You can copy the number and post that into LinkedIn as your credential ID. And then you can also copy the URL, the web address to your certificate, and that goes in the credential. Okay, so this is in the licenses and certifications area in LinkedIn, and it's really just connecting your work that you've done in DataCamp to your LinkedIn. Okay, so moving on to Canva. Okay, just going to quickly show a really nice data analyst portfolio. This is one I found, and I thought it had a great template, lots of colors, lots of personality, and good organization. So if you scroll through, you can see that we start with a nice big picture, title, full name, and a summary of what we are looking at, this data analytics portfolio. Then we have an About Me section with a short summary showcasing skills, and using bold and colors to do that. Then we have some nice icons that link to different places, ways to contact, projects, and a CV or resume. Okay, nice to have a table that goes over the tools and skills that you have, and you can organize them into different categories by column. Keep in mind the difference between tools and methods. Okay, so tools are, the technical things that you rely on to accomplish something. So methods rely on tools, right? So for example, you can do a logistic regression with Microsoft Excel or with Python. You can do exploratory data analysis with Tableau or R or Python, right? So keep that in mind when categorizing your skills and the tools and methods that you've used. It's very good to have a section on education and experience. So work experience and education on the other, including degrees that you have and maybe other training programs that you've done. And then here we get into some projects. So summary page for each project. Good to have a diversity of methods and tools visible on these. So I think we have 4 projects. And then finally, a final page with the contact information repeated. So that's a really nice portfolio. And that was what kind of inspired the template that I created. So I looked at that one and created a guideline for you. If you go to Canva, you can do this yourself. You could create a website from some other template. They provide a lot of templates for you. But I decided to build one that looks something like this. So this is available in the workshop materials. You can click on it and then just make sure to select use template for new design. Don't click edit because I won't be able to let everybody edit the same template. I have to have everybody make a copy for themselves, and then you can edit that. Okay, so quickly going over a couple things that you can do with the portfolio template. You can link to multiple pages. So you can create internal links like I'm showing here to those pages so that somebody can navigate across the different pages. And you can also create external. So these are hyperlinks. Don't put long URLs on your portfolio. I don't think that's a good idea. Make hyperlinks like this using icons and buttons, right? That's all a part of making your portfolios parsimonious, simple, clean, and easy to follow. Here's a look at how to create an external link. So if you want to add your LinkedIn there, you can do this. So just click on it, 3 dots, link, and then instead of an internal link, you're pasting a URL, a link to your LinkedIn portfolio. Okay, so that is what I wanted to cover. And this goes over a lot of things that you can do to build a great professional portfolio. For those who are not interested in using GitHub, you can stop here. If you are interested in using GitHub and highlighting that on your portfolio, I'll go into that briefly right now. So thank you very much for joining me, and stick around for a little tutorial of GitHub. Okay, so I set this up to try to show you what you can do with a DataCamp portfolio, DataCamp project. It was really, really important that if you showcase a DataCamp project, that you cite that this came from DataCamp, okay? So I really don't recommend just following the data. I mean, you could do the project in DataCamp for learning purposes, right? Follow the instructions, of course. And I've completed this one, and it's not anything special, but I just filled in the code to accomplish the tasks according to the prompts, right? So it doesn't look all that terrific right now. I don't have any visuals. I don't have any interpretations. I'm just following the directions. So I wouldn't showcase this project as is. What I would do is download the file, right? There's 2 ways that you can download your project file. You could go to File, Download. So you could do it that way as a zip file, and then you can expand it later, or you can expand the Files tab and download the notebook. So download notebook. And you're also going to want to download the data file. So download that file as well. Okay, so do that. And I'm just showing you a way that I think this can work really well. So I did that and then dragged those 2 files into a Google Drive. So I have the full Collab notebook and I have the data. Now, when you're doing a project in DataCamp, there's a specific way to import the data. They have the data stored on their server, right? So when you read the data, that's pretty much all set for you. It's just a read CSV, but that is not going to work if you have your project in a Google Drive. And the reason I think it's good to put your project in a Google Drive is so that you can share it easily as part of your portfolio. Okay, so we're going to need to modify the way that we read in the data. So I've shared with you a block of code. If you're someone who really wants to showcase your Python, you want to be able to show your code in a way that somebody else can run the code. Okay, and you don't want someone to have a whole bunch of setup to do by importing the data, setting up the file path and all of that. That takes a lot of time. So you can do this easily. And I have shared this block of code with you in the workshop materials. And I'm just going to show you how you set this up. So you have your data in your Colab notebook. You want to click share. Let's see what it says. So let's see what we have. Okay, this says restricted. We need to change that to anyone that the link can view. Then you want to copy the link, copy that link, and that is exactly what goes here. Okay, so you copy that drive link to the data right here. The rest of the code can stay the same. So I've written this code so that it does some stuff, right? It turns this drive link into a format that is readable with the pandas read CSV method. Okay, so this is going to get you the data set so then you can do a whole bunch of stuff with it. Okay, so I haven't done a lot with this project, but what I want to recommend to you is if you do want to showcase your Python project or a DataCamp project, that you add a lot more to it. Interpretations, you can add text blocks easily by adding a new block of text and typing in your interpretations there, what that means, and even doing some research. This is a project about modeling car insurance claims. So the prompt tells you a little bit about why this is important. But if you were to go above and beyond and do a little bit more research about the current trends in car insurance and what do the results of this model mean? We got 77% accuracy. What does that mean? What variable was identified as important in helping predict the car insurance claims, right? So I would put that on you to do some good work to expand the interpretation sections and the explanations of the code. That will really make your project stand out. So I wouldn't just copy a project from DataCamp and then show that you did it. Use it as an opportunity to add your own style and knowledge. All right. And so where does GitHub fit in? Really quickly. All you need to do is first set up a GitHub account, and then you can click on Save a Copy in GitHub. When you do this, you'll be prompted through an automated process where you're just kind of clicking to connect your Google Colab to your GitHub account. And then your project will show up on GitHub, and you will get one of those green squares. So again, every time you make a change to your project, you have a green square. If you do multiple updates on a given day, you get this dark green square, and that looks really good. I mean, if you look at this person, you can see, oh, they're very active in their coding. Okay, so I believe each column is a week, and then each square is a day. So you can see somebody did a lot of work in their analytics projects on a daily basis. Okay, well, I think we're going to leave it there. And again, thank you very much for joining me. Best of luck with your professional portfolio. Thanks.